Welcome to the exclusive. I'm your host, Sharon Tharp. It's been a minute, but I'm back here to cover the Traitors. Last year I had this guy on for the first recap, and I'm very happy that he agreed to do it again. So welcome back, Survivor winner Tyson Apostol. Tyson, how are you?
Woo! I'm great. Yeah, I always like how you invite me to this podcast. You're like, "Do you want exclusive to watch the first 3 episodes before anybody else?" I was like, "Yeah, I've got friends on there. Why wouldn't I?" And then you're like,
I
"Okay, do the
figured.
podcast." Yeah. So it as long as you dangle that carrot in front of me, I will always be here for you, Sharon.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, especially because these first three episodes are Survivor heavy. There's a little
Yeah.
Survivor on Survivor crime going on. So we'll dive into it.
Yeah,
Um,
let's do it.
okay, first high level thoughts, like when you see the cast, well, one, did you know anyone else other than the survivors? And two, what did you think about the four survivors they chose?
I know of Wes only
Mm-hmm.
since I did the Challenge USA a few years ago. So, and then I know Danielle because she's a Survivor fan. So I recognize her from tweeting at me during Winners at War and stuff. And so I think she's always shown me love. So I want to reciprocate that. And I know of Tom because he was the most hated man in America last year or 2 years ago or something like that.
Correct.
And let's see who else. I'm scrolling through. And Wells. I know of Wells because there was a time when Bachelor in Paradise was the funniest show on TV. Because those people really, I think part of them believed they were finding love there, which made it absolutely hysterical.
That is true. That is true. It's hard
Yeah.
for me to watch dating shows. It's really cringe. It's hard for me. But if you watch to laugh, then
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's not as funny as it used to be, but it used to be so funny. I haven't watched it for a while, so I don't know anymore. But there were a few seasons where I was like, this isn't as funny as it used to be. And so maybe they've gotten back to that, but I remember it being hilarious. And I do remember Wells, not that he was hilarious on the show, but he seems like he's a good character. I think he's maybe come out of his shell a little bit since his first time on The Bachelor.
For sure. And now he's married to Sarah Hyland, who obviously is a famous actress. And so,
I don't even know who that is. Obviously,
she's
obviously,
yeah. She's from Modern Family. But yeah. Wells, poor guy. We'll talk about him. He kind of got a raw deal. Um,
yeah.
but what about these four survivors? Like odd odd grouping or not surprising or
It seems like they're picking people a little bit for their history with each other.
hmm, yep.
You know, like Danielle and Brittany seem to be a similar thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then even Derek knows Danielle. It seems like they're picking people that at least have some eh, some experience with each other, and so in Rob they bring him back to have like like they did Rob versus Russell, and now they're doing
Yep.
Rob versus Tony, and he didn't get the best of him the first time, but he got the best of him the second time, and yeah, I liked it. I was a little, it was confusing because it's like, okay, you got two like cutthroatish game players in Rob and Tony. Jeremy's a great character, but he's a little bit softer when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to being a sociopath. And then you have Carolyn, who's just a wild card. And I was like, Carolyn was the flavor of the year of the season she played Survivor. So it makes sense to get some of these recent kids on there. I say kid, we're about the same age, but yeah, in Survivor age, she's a kid compared to this guy here. So yeah, I watch when you just look at it on paper, you're like, whatever. But watching it play out, it actually I think worked really well with the four survivors.
Yeah,
So
I'm surprised they put four though. That's a pretty big number.
I mean,
I mean, they could do it for the housewives, so I guess it doesn't matter.
yeah, and you watch and you see Wells' little confessional there where he was like, okay, survivors get out of bed and they figure out who they're gonna fuck over. Like that's it really is. Like it's like, how do I win this day?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and crush it. And then if you crush it extra hard, you rub it in everybody's face. Like that's classic survivor uh, life. So like
Yeah.
somebody calls me and is like, hey, I did this and I paid this much. I'm like, that's nothing. I did this and it paid this much. And it's just like you're always trying to outdo and win and crush. And so I think it's funny that Wells picked up on that almost
Mm.
immediately as I think was it Jeremy, Tony, and Carolyn were talking in the room So yeah, I like
Yep.
the foursome there as I'm watching it work out. And I think we're going to get a lot more from Carolyn and Boston Rob as traitors. And
Yep.
and I don't think it's going to be pretty. I don't think they're fully
It
seeing
already
eye to
isn't.
eye.
It's already messy. And before Rob even gets there, it's messy.
It's so messy. It's like I actually texted Carolyn. I was like, I saw the first 3 episodes, and you were totally right in wanting that first elimination. Like everybody already thought Delinda, what's her name?
Dorinda.
Dorinda, that Dorinda might be a traitor. So just keep her suspect. Like, why? It'll take care of itself, and it'll give you a shield. And Danielle was like, I think 20 moves ahead. Guess what? Nobody thinks 20 moves ahead. If you're thinking 20 moves ahead, you're getting stuffed way before move 20.
I think the game's over after
Yeah,
removing
there's not
10.
even 20 moves to make.
But
and
that
Carolyn's
was
like 20, and she's like, yes. She's like, you never played this game before. He's like, believe me.
yeah,
So
it was tense.
yeah.
Well, okay, so before we got to the turret, we got to talk about the Rob handshake thing. Rob shows up for this show.
Yeah.
I don't know if they told him like, "Hey, you're not actually in the game yet."
I think they did, and I think they screwed him
yeah,
over. I think that screws a person over. And it's also like, it's not an ego boost. Like, not everybody recognizes Rob. Like,
correct.
it's embarrassing. Not everybody recognizes Wes. Not everybody recognizes Derek. It's fucking embarrassing that you have to explain who you are to like over half the cast, or let other people explain it. Doesn't make it any better. It's like, just let them mix and mingle and work their way in as a normie. And then people can tell other people about you all they want. But like, it definitely puts Rob on his back foot. And I don't know. I was thinking, if I were in that situation, and I don't know, like maybe they told the cast not to shake Alan's hand. Maybe they were like, don't, nobody do it. This is
This
whatever.
is all show.
Yeah. Like, because it doesn't make sense that nobody would run up and shake it just so that nobody else could run up and shake his hand, like as a block. Like, you would want to, if it's going to happen, you'd want to be the one doing it rather than having it be done to you. Like, if I were standing there, I would sprint the second he said that and just pop Tony, just because I feel like Tony would try to do the same to me.
Right. Okay, that was my question. Do you think Tony or Jeremy or Carolyn should have let Rob in the game with that handshake?
No, Carolyn doesn't know Rob.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to pop her and bring Rob into the game. So I think she's safe. Jeremy would make sense to take Tony out, but also Rob and Jeremy didn't see eye to eye on the last time they played either. So I don't think it's Jeremy. It doesn't matter. Like, I think he's safer not, but I think like someone like me, it would have made sense. Danielle sprinting and grabbing the hand and getting rid of Brittany, if she felt that way about her, that would have made sense.
That would have been, oh, I don't, yeah. That, no, so I thought though, like, what happens if someone does it?
They let
Like,
Rob in the game, and that person who shook the hand gets to choose to eliminate someone right there on the spot.
okay, but then when the Derek and West thing happens, it's not as big of a moment, right?
I mean, half the 90% of the people didn't even know who the fuck they were. So is that a big moment anyways? Like, it's not going to matter. Like, and Wes is telling everybody who he is, and you're not buying it in the second, because there's a twinge of like showmanship. What would you say? It reeked of effort a little bit there.
Yeah. It was funny. They cut to like people's faces, and like one person recognized, and then the rest were like, what's going on?
Yeah, and the one person that recognized was Carolyn for all 3.
Right. True.
So and like, I know the Derek name. Would I have recognized his face? I never saw a season of Big Brother. I know Wes. I recognize Wes. I would have been like, yeah. And Rob, obviously, I know Rob. So, but I think that it's like when you go out in public and somebody runs up to you, is like, oh my God, you're on Survivor. This is my friend who's never seen the show. And the friend's like, I don't give a shit who you are. And you're like, yeah, you shouldn't. Like, why? But now that's a total buzzkill for me too, because not everybody knows me. So now it's just like an uncomfortable, awkward moment where somebody's like, I don't give a shit who you are. And you're like, you shouldn't. And the person that making a big deal has embarrassed both of us.
That actually makes sense though, because like usually if you watch one of these shows, like it's not like you're a lot of friends watch it too. It's usually just you or
Yeah.
yeah. So that makes sense.
It's definitely a show you watch by yourself.
By yourself. Yeah. Okay, so before obviously Rob comes in, we do have these three traitors, Danielle, Bob the Dragon, and Carolyn.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the three of them as traitors so far.
I thought it was going to be great because I knew they were going to clash immediately. And off the bat, Bob, to me, I was like, this guy is going far. Bob is going to crush. He's like, he has the confidence. He has like this like cutthroatedness to him. Obviously, we get 3 episodes in, and he's already buried himself, and so
Yep.
has Danielle. And Carolyn's the only one. But
Who would have thought?
but they get in, they have no rhyme or reason to who they want to get out, really, other than it's like a housewife, but they choose the wrong housewife. Carolyn tries to choose the right housewife, and they both just like shut her down so quick. And then Bob toots his own horn, he's like, guys, I was controlling the round table. Oh my God, I can't believe how good I am at this. It's I think it's a great trio, but they needed Rob in there. Otherwise, that trio would have been obliterated in like a
Imploded.
couple more episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 episodes in, and they'd be like, this is the first time we're ever doing this. We're going to choose 6 new traitors from the remainder of you guys, because you guys suck at being traitors. And we
Yeah.
don't think you'll last. But yeah, it's interesting. People have a hard time keeping their mouth shut too, because
Mhm.
I'm watching it, and it's like, if you don't have a read on who's a traitor, then why are you opening your mouth to anybody?
I was
Like,
gonna
I'd be talking to
say,
you, and we could be best friends in real life. I'm still not giving you information because I don't know if you're a traitor. And until I figure that out, you're not getting anything from me.
okay, that I agree, especially at the round table. You, but if you're too quiet, like a Dan last season, then obviously you're gonna get called out. So like, what is the play? Are you stay quiet until you feel like you have to speak up,
For a
or
traitor or for a faithful?
I guess that's a good question.
If you're a faithful, you got to go with the majority as much as you
Mhm.
can, and don't name names, because the name you name, it circles back around. But people see that you're not naming names. So if you're going to name a name that's a safe name to name.
Mm.
Don't be the first to name a name. Like, that's part of the game. And then it's like, being a faithful is so easy. Jeremy immediately
What is he
clocks
doing?
Danielle
Yeah, but what
as
is
a
he doing saying it?
he shouldn't. All he should do is buddy up to her, tell her that he's her ride or die, and then at the very final moment when it's time to win money, say, Danielle's actually a traitor. I buddied up so she'd protect me through the game. And Dylan should be doing that same thing with Bob. And if Dylan and Jeremy just trusted each other for a second, they would have already had 2 traitors clocked. They would have been a foursome, and they would have just ran to the end, and Dylan and Jeremy would win the game. But
That is,
now
yep.
but now Jeremy opened his mouth to Dylan and said Danielle's a traitor, and Dylan runs to Danielle and tells her. And Dylan also tells Jeremy that Bob's a traitor, and
Ugh.
Jeremy runs to Bob and tells him. It's just like it's too perfect. Like, you
You know
can't
it's
write this
bad.
stuff.
You know it's bad when Tony's like, Jeremy, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
Tony's like, Jeremy. And that's the most I feel like Jeremy's ever. I mean, you played with him, but like, or I don't even know if you guys were. Yeah, I don't
We
even
were
remember
on
when as it were, but
yeah. We were on Edge of
um,
Extinction together.
okay.
Oh, we
But
were in the game
yeah,
together for a little while at the merge.
okay. But like I imagine he's more of like lay back until you have to make a move. So this was surprising to me from Jeremy.
Yeah, but when you come back after not being on TV for a long time and you didn't win the last time you were on, you have some extra scramble in you.
Hmm.
Like, you're
Okay.
more paranoid. You don't want to make the same mistakes before. You want the game to be in your control. And if everybody's talking about everybody, then it's like he's probably feeling more comfortable, like just saying all of it. So
Okay.
it's interesting too that the kiss of death on the Traitors is saying that your superpower is being able to read people. I think there were only like 19 cast members that said that in the first 3 episodes. Like,
And they
hey
were all
guys,
wrong.
heads up. Yeah, heads up. As people are lying to them and they're getting like sucker punched in the back of the head, they're like, I can read people. I know exactly what I'm getting sucker punched.
Yeah. Robin was like, Bob is not a traitor. I'm like, Robin, just stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And then Rob's
okay.
like, I
And
can read people perfectly. And then they put him in the traitor thing. And he's like, I had no idea any of you were traitors.
do you think he did know?
I don't think so. I don't think he was there long
It's too
enough.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy did say he wanted to stick with survivors when he first saw Rob. Would you think he was just saying that? Do you think that's a smart move? Like you
I
should
think it's
be
a
sticking
safe move
together?
initially. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a safe. I mean, it's any of these games. You go in and you have to find a group, and the easiest, most natural group, just from looking at it without being able to build bonds, is the TV shows.
Do you
So,
think
yeah,
like Wes was I mean, he picked up, okay, this there's a voting block here with the survivors. I'm going with them. I thought that was smart.
yeah. I mean that
He
is
didn't really have much else to do
it's
anyway, but
standard. Yeah, the Challenge USA that happened too as Survivor became the superpower. Every other faction was like, I'm with you. Like Amazing Race came to us, Love Island came to us, Big Brother, as they were fragmenting, came to us. And you're just like, yeah, you're all part of the thing. Just tell me all your information as you get it. So,
fair.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Uh, but more
But
lines will be drawn. And as these lines are drawn, like we saw end of episode 3 that they were talking about how it was women that were being targeted initially for the most part. So it was like, well, then
I
maybe
mean,
that's a split too.
I thought that was just smart because Wes was in a room with women and
Yeah.
saying that. So
Yeah.
I was like, good job.
Yeah.
Because there's that little clique of the three girls plus the housewives and um but in terms of Rob, Jeremy, and Wes,
Yeah.
they're not stupid. They know one of them is a traitor going into this, right?
Oh, Derek,
Sorry,
Robin, Wes.
yes.
Yes, 100%. And Derek, I don't know if they all said it or if Derek was just the most observant. He was like, one of those two is for sure a traitor. Like
Yeah.
it can't not be. Like, and I'm the same. Like, watch season 1, watch season 2, watch season 3. You pick one of production's favorites, and you just start targeting them. They're going to
So
be.
funny.
Yeah,
It's
there's
true.
literally like, okay, season 1, who do they want to go far? The traders are more guaranteed to go far and make some moves and be on TV. Suri, easy.
Yep.
Like, even without saying anything, if you had been, here's the cast, pick some traders out of there to eliminate, I'd be like, Suri. And then season 2, same exact identical thing. Like, you might whiff with Sandra because she wasn't a trader, but you hit with Parv. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. It's like Tony or Rob is a traitor. One of them is going to be a traitor that's built into the game. You need someone who can mastermind a trio of for moves to move further in the game, because you can't just have 3 housewives in there that don't know what they're doing, because then the trio immediately implodes and you have to start over and find new traders and stuff like that, and they don't want that for the show. So it's like, yeah, season 4, if you're on season 4, all you got to do is find out who production's stoked on and start popping them one by one.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I did think it was interesting. They actually showed sort of a little bit of the metagame. I think it was it Robin? Someone had said in episode 3, like, well, who would Alan pick as a traitor? This person. And that I think was the first time we saw that sort of come in, where
Yeah.
like, who would production pick? Which obviously
Yes.
I would assume everyone is thinking anyway, right?
You would think.
Not saying it, but yeah, I think the gamers, at least the quote unquote gamers, would be thinking, okay, like who?
I mean,
And
I'd
that's
be
why,
in there. I'd be in there immediately. And if I'm not a traitor, I'm immediately saying, Tony or Rob is a traitor. Tony or Rob is a traitor. Tony or Rob is a traitor. If I can figure it out without having to eliminate both of them, great. But I'd be pledging my allegiance to both of those guys and working with both of them, knowing that one of them is a traitor and they would
mm,
get me to the end, hopefully.
hopefully,
But then
yeah.
the trick is to convince everyone that you're also not a traitor when it's discovered that that person is a traitor.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky part. Once someone although, a lot of people get away with it. So I don't know.
Well,
These people are fickle.
Sandra had the game figured out last season because of that. She was like, it doesn't matter who the traitors are. It's better to know who they are. As long as you're on their side, they're not going to kill you at night. And then you win at the end. But the problem is that she was so close to the traitor that they thought she was a traitor too.
Yep. Yep. I wonder if production I think I heard that production wasn't thrilled with that. I'm sure they were talking about it.
It's how you beat the game. Like, you
Yeah.
can't. you can't be not thrilled at a player beating the game. You're hiring like sociopathic mastermind narcissists to play a game of strategy mixed with human emotion. Like they're going to figure out a way to beat it, and they're going to poke holes in it until you perfect it.
And especially because it is a flawed game and they do have some work to do, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for
fair.
sure. For sure they do. But I did like bits of it, like the first challenge where people had to get off the boat.
Mm,
And then there was the balance of if you get off too quickly, then you're a traitor because you're protected. You know you're not getting voted out. If you don't, if you fight too hard, then you're kind of selfish. But like, where is that balance? And then the fact that they turned around early and then they're like made the pool of people that could get
they were
eliminated even
pissed.
smaller was absurd. It was so crazy. But that's reality TV though for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought that was a fun little twist in it.
yes, for
But I would
sure it
never
was.
get off that boat. I mean, immunity. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it was the
Would
same
you?
with the clown show. Like, who goes first? Like, it's the same exact thing. You want to go last. And uh I think they should do more of that. Like even like Squid Game,
Mm-hmm.
the reality show, they had that moment with the cookie licking thing where it was
Yep.
like, choose this, and if nobody chooses, or if not, then you're all out.
Yep.
And like they need to do more like that. Like if not every challenge in the future on Traitors is designed like that, then they have a big missed opportunity.
Yeah. The show's gonna get a little more boring. It's not if they keep doing the same thing. But yeah, so you would have stayed on the boat, I'm assuming, or no? You would have
Oh, I
got
would
off.
have fought. Yeah, yeah, you're staying on the boat no matter what. As a traitor, maybe like what I would do is maybe like at 4 when everyone's like, we're turning around, I'd be like, no, 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 no. Let's get that last bag. I'll volunteer if we go to the last one. Let's get all the money because I want it for the group. Like I do. I don't know. You
Mm,
have to at least, it's like working construction. Like you got to carry a 2x4 around and make it look like
and a
you're
hard
working
hat.
in a hard hat and just like carry it from place to place and then move. You got to make it look like you're working all the time.
That's so
And
funny.
so
That
like
is
this
so
is like
true.
that. Like you got to put like that facade of like I'm here for the group. I'm a faithful all the time. Like you can't ever not have that mask on.
Well,
Whether
Bob
you're a
was doing
faithful,
that,
yeah.
right? When he was
Yeah.
like,
It was
well,
awesome.
the men or something. What was he saying?
Perfect play. Yeah. It's only women who have been out here. Men need to come out here too. This is bullshit. Like he became a hero. Like that's it. And like a self-serving narcissistic hero. Who would have thought that that's who we needed in 2025?
I'm very much enjoying Bob from a TV standpoint for
Yeah,
sure.
he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
He's good because he's fiery. He's, I mean,
Him
he's
versus Dylan was he ate
yeah.
him up.
Although Dylan like seemed fine from it. Dylan like did not seem
He handled it
phased.
well. He
Yeah.
handled it well. I was, what did you think of Dylan? He's a big Survivor fan.
Yeah, I like Dylan. I thought he was clever. He seemed, I mean, Wells also had a good read on like some people, but like that's the thing. Like people just are like, Wells acted weird. And you're like how? And they're like weird. And they're like, oh, got to get him out of here. That is some bullshit. He can't be acting weird. Like that's like you have the nitpickiest, smallest, weirdest things to go on at the beginning. And you just, somebody finds one of those and it festers. And everybody's like, okay, yeah, he was acting weird. Like that's so Dylan, I don't think it was time for him to shoot his shot. I think he should have just palled up with Bob and been like, Bob, I think that you're a faithful. I am willing to work with you, ride or die. Let's get to the end together as faithfuls. I will never betray you. I will always talk to you. I will always give you the information. And I am not just a faithful that knows you're a traitor that's trying to get to the end only to betray you at the very end. I'm not that.
Not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Wes trying to coach him? Like, when, if you're going to take a shot, make sure you don't miss, like before the round table.
It's true. Like when he was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to go 1 and then 2, I'm going to try 2. And it's like, nope, just fire hard at 1 if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, it's too early. And also, like, day 1, nobody's looking at Dylan as a scary guy.
No,
So,
no.
like, Dylan's best play would have been to just like chill and pretend like he has no idea what's going on and try to figure out who the traitors are and befriend them a little bit.
Yeah, like almost like Sam, who is irrelevant, and I don't even think he got a confessional. Did you see him? Do
Yeah,
you
I saw
remember him?
Sam. I remember Sam. He was married to Britney Spears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which clearly he has a lot of NDAs because one person asked one question. He's like, no, I'm not answering that. And then that's the last time we saw him.
Yeah. No, I think he had like one or two moments where he was like,
Did he?
he had like something. I forget when he was like, they're not targeting me, like, or something where he was just like, look at me. If it's not, it was something kind of self deprecating that was also kind of funny.
Okay.
So,
I'll give him a chance. I just am like, what is he doing here? But
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those. It's only episode 3, and it's a lot of people on a show that are all narcissists. So you're
yeah.
constantly like, you see somebody with a camera on them, and you like step in between them and the camera, and you're like, "Look at me! I could do a little jig." And then, Wes jumps in front of you and does another jig, and it's just like constant. Man, it's got to be exhausting.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like, and I think we've talked about this before, but if you're coming from a show like a reality competition show, I'm assuming you're aware of where the cameras are and like who they're focused on.
I don't know how the house is set up. I don't know if there's moving
Yeah,
cameras like Big Brother. I assume it's cameramen everywhere. But
I think it's both.
yeah, it's probably both. It is both because you see the angles of the corner cameras and stuff. But you do see that, but I don't know if that matters that much. And also, like Survivor contestants, especially, this is more of like a mansion drama show than it is a game show. And this is a very different environment for a Survivor player. Challenge, they get this mansion drama
Oh, that's
aspect of
true.
their show already. Big Brother, it's all pretty much that. Housewives, it's a lot of that. So like I played marriage boot camp, or I went on marriage boot
Oh my
camp
God, I forgot
10,
about
10
that.
years ago. And that for me was like a shock. Like the marriage, like the mansion drama is just like those guys. And I even heard it from people who played on this season. It's like cameras are on, they're switched on, cameras go off, they're boring. And you're like, I
Oh.
don't know who's what. I don't know which way's up because you're one person when the cameras are on and you're totally different person when the cameras are off. And I don't like either of them.
Oh my God. I would just I feel like I would be very aware of the cameras and stuff, but I'm just a paranoid person. So okay, well, let's talk about the shields.
Mhm.
What did you think of first them being able to save someone? Is that an advantage? I guess they get to like build a relationship. And did
Yeah,
they
that's
pick
what
the
they're
right
going for.
people? Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, they have little to go off of. You want to find somebody who's really going to help you. Rob, obviously, it does not matter. He's a traitor. He can give his shield to whoever he wants. Um, I think giving it to Tony, I think giving it to someone you know
Yeah.
is strategic, is smart. Giving it to
Hmm.
someone you know, giving it to someone you know as a game player, those two things I think combined, like, because those are the dangerous people in this house. And so I think, yeah, I think that he made the right move. Um, I liked it. Derek, I mean, he maybe should have given it to Danielle. She was like pushing for it pretty hard. He
I
did
think
make sure with her that when he gave it to Dylan, he told her. So I think she was fine with it.
I think we
Um,
missed a conversation though. I think he told her before he gave it to her.
oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. But I it seemed like odd that she was like, oh, okay. When she was like begging for it. I was like, huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why everyone should be able to tell she's a traitor. It's
Yeah.
like she begs and begs and begs. He's like, I'm gonna give it to someone else. She's like, oh, easy come, easy go, no big deal. I'll be here tomorrow.
That's
I
such a
mean,
good
I mean,
point.
I mean, I think I will. I don't know. Only a traitor would know. I'm not that. Bob isn't that either. Me and Bob are not traitors.
That's so interesting. Wonder if Derek picked up on that or not. Who knows?
I mean, Jeremy picked up on it. He didn't pick up on that, but he picked up on her crying and turning it on and off. And he was like, nah. And also, yeah, and Bob's vote, like the way Dylan read it, I thought was pretty good read. So yeah, the shields, I like the shields. I think they could be reworked. I don't know exactly how, because everybody wants a shield.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess they should, but as a trader, it's like you obviously don't need a shield, but you have to pretend like you want a shield so that people don't think you're a traitor. But at some point, are the people who are vying for the shields the hardest going to be the traitors because they're the ones that are like trying the hardest to block that
Yep.
they're like it's maybe the balance is already there and it's fine. But
Maybe.
yeah. And then who
I
did
was
Wes give his to?
He gave it to Jeremy because he wanted to solidify that
Oh,
survivor,
that's right. That's
right?
right. And Jeremy was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's the thing. And Wes said that too. He's like, I want to work with those people, but they'll slit my throats as quickly as I'll slit theirs, which is true. Like trying to curry favor with any of those, with anybody who's played a game like that before, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair. I
So
do think Jeremy likes safety, so I'm sure he was like, but the Tony one for Rob, I thought was smart because, maybe Tony was worried that Rob, like, I don't know, Rob voted for him to win Survivor, so it's not like they had that much beef or anything. It was more like
yeah.
Jeremy and Tony, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't even know if they've had beef. They're still seem to be friends, talking to
Quote
each other.
unquote
So
beef, whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was fine of Rob. I mean, again, it doesn't matter. He's a traitor. He could just kill Tony immediately if he needed to.
Which he doesn't. Well, okay, so let's talk
He
about it.
buries him. I mean, he
He
buries him
buries
pretty
him a
good.
little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Ian, by the way, but I feel like, unfortunately, that wasn't. I feel like that was just a nothing. Like another housewife in the turret when Rob got up there.
Yeah.
I think he was like, "This is crazy. Just whatever you guys want to
Yeah.
do," which
Yeah.
we don't really see from Rob.
Well, he didn't know. He'd been there so short, like he had no idea. And like that game again, like everybody, if you're in there and three people aren't getting along and they're already arguing, like you stepping in, like he got in, he said his piece. Everybody still wanted to lose their minds, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, I haven't been here long enough. Just do what you want to do." I don't know if him sticking his neck out for Bob the drag queen is the best move for him there, though. It feels like it
Yeah,
might have backfired on him a little bit. Tony calling him a sellout on his exit.
that
Uh,
was that was a moment. They definitely made a meal out of that moment.
yeah. So, uh,
What'd you
yeah,
think?
I don't know. I don't know in that moment I feel like if you are not compatible with Bob, you let him go,
Is
you
she?
cut him loose.
I wonder, did the problem was everyone at that round table was throwing random votes. So like even Tony did not vote for Bob. And I'm like, Tony,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even
It's,
know how many did Bob get votes? I'm trying to remember. I think he got a few.
he got a couple. Yeah.
But the voting is all over the place. I think
It's all over.
that's not helping the situation. And I just thought, Tony, like your name's out there. You vote for the person everyone else is, who's gonna have the second most votes. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you've played this before.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
He was a bit of a fish out of water. I think it was because he had to wear a suit.
Yeah, he was clothed inside. So he's like, "What's going on here?" He
I
had
don't know.
glitter all over his face. Like
Yeah, they
everyone had
all did.
glitter.
Yeah. Everyone, uh, Survivor, they put mud on you as quickly as possible or oil. They make you slide on a slippery slide of oil, and then it's disgusting. Here they do glitter. Uh, yeah.
But they get to wash it off here as opposed to sleep in it for 40 days.
Yeah. And I did actually think it was clever. Like Tony was like, Rob, you think I'm a traitor? He's like, "No, I don't think so." He's like, then why would you even bring that up? Then why bring it up? If you don't think I'm a traitor and you're not targeting me, then why bring it up?
I don't, yeah. Was it just because he didn't want to strike too soon on Bob? I mean, there's four
Yeah.
of them. Does it matter?
He wanted to keep the traitors together. I don't know exactly what the agreement is as a traitor on the show because they're like, protect yourself and the fellow traitors and don't like I would have a secret handshake with my best friend in there, give him the secret
Hmm.
handshake that lets him know I'm a traitor and that he can ride with me and then that will split the money at the end.
I mean, yeah, that's what I would do with like, so going after Tony, I was just, I don't know. It was sad. I actually was sad about it. It was hard for me to because I'm like I felt bad. I'm a Tony fan as a TV character. I don't know about him in real
Okay.
life. I don't know him in real life.
Did you like
But
him like did he do it for you these 3 episodes? Was he the character you had hoped him to be?
no, but I think we missed a lot because a lot of people didn't like Tony and they were only there for 2 days. So Tony must have been running around like I feel like we missed some
Yeah, he scrambles
conversations.
hard. He
Yeah,
scrambles very, very hard. And yeah,
because
I mean, it's how he got caught out on the season he lost. So yeah, and I don't know. He's not everybody's cup of tea.
yeah. I don't know if about playing a game with him. I'm just as a viewer, he
Yeah.
can be fun. But
But
yeah.
was
So
he
okay.
fun this time?
Mm, No, I mean it's hard to tell. You know, he wasn't there long, so kind of like we didn't get much from
Yeah.
him. He did get emotional when he was leaving, which I was surprised. Again, he was there 2 days. I'm like,
Yeah. Was it
but
real?
he said it was real, Tyson. He said his bonds were real and his friendships that he made were real.
Yeah. In 2 days worth of friendship building. He's not talking to any of those people again.
What did you think about Bob and Danielle like crying at breakfast after like the first?
I thought it was okay. Like I thought
Okay.
Bob, but like they're sitting next to each other and they're both crying and looking at each other. That was a little bit much. I would have been like, that's a little suspicious. Bob crying on his own, I was like, that looks great. That looks like he is not a traitor. For sure, it looks like he's not a traitor. But then when Danielle was like, I'm gonna cry too, then I was like, they're both traitors. And so I think it worked for one of them to cry, but not both. And then Danielle's like, I'm gonna cry every time there's a thing to cry about. And then Jeremy clocked her on it immediately. He's like, her crying's too much. She's a traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm worried about Jeremy.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the Jeremy, the Traitors, this was a weird scene. I'm like, again, I think editing the when they go into the wine cellar behind the door, what was
Yeah.
happening there? That there's no way would they risk the show of someone finding all four of them.
I think it was cut together to make it seem like it was close, but I don't think
Yeah.
that who did they show there at the very end, like walking in and like spying on him? I don't think that that
I think it was
happened.
Gabby. I don't think that was real. Her and
Yeah.
Derek, they kept showing like peeking in, and I was like, "There's no
Yeah. And like
way."
listening and being like, that's weird. Yeah. I don't think so either. I think they could have even closed the mansion off for that portion of it and been like, everybody, we're breaking you up into groups. Like, I don't know. I don't
I
know
would
how
have
that
thought
is. I don't know how that is done there, but yeah, I also thought that. Um and I was like, and if it was like I was a traitor, I wouldn't even go in. I'd be like, no, just do it without me, guys. Do it without me. I'll be here with the majority,
the
with the
faithfuls.
faithfuls. Yeah, I'll be here with the faithfuls. You guys take care of that shit. You can put me in a coffin if you want. I don't care. I thought it was
Yeah, it's
weird not
so
to go in a
odd.
coffin like Rob's playing like the like layer on layer on layer on layer on layer, where he's like, if we put someone in, they'll be expecting one of them to be traitors. So then we shouldn't put
Hmm.
any of the traitors in because then it's like, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
If I
I
were
guess people
faithful, would I
saw.
look at it and be like, is one of them a traitor? I was like, if I were a traitor and that was allowed, I would, but would production allow that? That's what I don't know.
They said that they could go in if they wanted to. The
They said that
traitors.
they could put one traitor in a coffin.
One traitor. They have to pick three, right?
Yeah.
So who are we? I mean, Jeremy's got to be in there. Danielle wants him in there, right? I think Jeremy's in trouble. I think Jeremy's getting murdered. I think Danielle is,
Yeah, but
as from what I know.
Rob and Carolyn are there. So if they're not protecting Jeremy, then they'll also put up Brittany.
Good point. Good
Did
point.
you like
Carolyn brought
how
up that.
did you like how Danielle tried to do damage control where she's like, and what a traitor would do is put up Brittany to make it seem like I'm a traitor.
So it's almost throwing Carolyn under the bus.
She's covering her base. She tried to cover her bases for anything terrible that could possibly happen by
Yep.
crying about it at breakfast or at the round table.
Yeah, Rob said she was doing too much. He has his eyes on everybody. He's like,
Yeah.
this is too much right
Everybody's
now.
doing too much. It's hard. It's a hard balance. It's hard to pretend like you have no idea what's going on when you know everything that's going on.
Yeah, and you watch the previous season and you watch someone like Dan who sits back and maybe doesn't speak up and you're like, well, I don't want to play like that. So
Yeah.
then you know, it is tough. You have to sort of navigate, I guess, the cast. And this cast is like they don't I don't know. It's all over the place. I not
Yeah.
impressed
It's
so far,
messy.
but
Very messy. Very, very messy. All I could think when I was watching this is I never want to play this fucking game. I do not want to
really?
be trapped in that house with I'm a narcissist too, but I'm a narcissist who recognizes his narcissism, which makes me a higher, more enlightened narcissist.
I feel like that's something Wes would say too. I feel like Wes is self-aware enough to say something like that.
Yeah, but
No?
I mean, he would, but I don't think he would fully mean it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Could be
I
right.
think
Could
he
be
would
right.
come up with it. But like, I don't want to be in there. I'm 45. Like, that's my legacy is fighting with a bunch of
Housewives.
housewives. Like my grandkids like 50 years from now are going to be like, great grandfather Tyson passed on. Let's turn on one of his legacies, Traitors season 3. Here he is fighting with a rich wife lady. And they're arguing about coffee, and you're just like, no, please don't. I don't need that.
Yeah, I would think they would put on blood versus water, but we don't know. You never know.
But after Blood versus Water, they got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, not marriage boot. Was marriage boot camp before blood versus water or after?
It was right after. It was like the
Oh,
year after.
got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
you were in a house then. You did not like that?
No.
Yeah, I figured.
Did not recommend. Do not recommend.
Never did it again.
Yeah. I'm a sociopath, but I'm an honest sociopath.
Okay, I don't think we meet a lot of those. I don't know any of those.
I'm the same whether you put a camera on me or not.
Okay, I do know a few people like that.
Like if a producer comes to me and says, I want you to fight on camera and bring the drama, no, if it's not natural for me, then you're not getting that from me. You're going to get something better. I'll come up with something better that's honest. But like, and then the camera goes off and you're like, we are friends. You're like, we were just fighting. And it's like, yeah, but there's a camera. Like, I'm not that.
I will say, I will vouch for you. You are very much the same off camera, from what I know. And I don't even know you that well, but
yeah. You sat in on some interviews that the camera went off and I was still talking.
Same Tyson. So anyone that thinks it's an act, it's not.
Not an act. I mean, though 20-year facade would be pretty impressive. That would maybe be true sociopathic behavior.
I haven't gone back and watched Token Cheens in a while, but you were pretty much the same guy, no?
I was younger and prettier. Yeah. Prettier.
The longer hair, yeah.
More arrogant.
More? Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think a little. I still have that same confidence of being able to crush people in competitions, but back then it was just like I know I'm untouchable because I'm so fit. I'm not so fit now, but I take pleasure. That's what brings me pleasure in beating people in competitions now, is being like, oh, and by the way, I'm not even fit anymore, assholes.
Yeah. That's why I thought Traitors might be good, because there aren't a lot of competition. It's not competition based. It's not like the challenge where you can get injured like probably immediately.
Yeah.
These missions aren't exactly.
Can you just sleep through the missions? Like, do I even have to show up for them? Because they're pointless essentially, and except for the shields.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Tyson, how much money is in the prize pot? Do we even know? $10,000, $5,000?
Yeah, like, and I still love when they're losing their minds over like 10. And this week, 10,000 could be added to the, and everybody's like, 10,000, oh my God. They all like orgasm together at the same time over $10,000. And you're like, that's not, no.
Yeah.
Like
multiple millionaires there, multiple.
Yeah. Do they have like, when you go to like an in studio thing where they have a sign that's like, clap now?
Applause.
Do they have like, applause. Do they have one of those applause meter things behind Alan coming?
I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, guys, we need a bigger reaction.
Big energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hype it up. Come on, let's go. And then
I'm not hyping shit. I'm just standing there, ice cold. Will not be moved by any dollar amount.
Okay, well, if you ever do go on the show, I will just be looking for a reaction when Alan talks.
There's no reaction. Zero reaction.
They won't show you. You'll be in the background of someone else losing their mind in front of you.
Yeah. The challenge kept trying to get me to do the next time on the challenge or previously on the challenge. And I was like, not in my contracts, bud. And that part of the show is stupid. I'm not doing it. I do not want to be in the previously on the challenge.
Some people would kill to do that, by the way. Like some of the people on the show who really want a lot of camera time would be like, oh yeah, I'll do all of them for you. Yeah.
No, you could tell who the thirsty ones were.
Yeah. Okay, so any other predictions of who they should put in the coffin or who they will put? Like, we don't really know what's gonna happen here, but
yeah, they're gonna argue. Obviously, Bob wants Dylan. I don't think Dylan's done enough damage control with Bob.
He did smooth it over a little bit.
He did. He was like, now I'm kind of believing that you are faithful. I don't know if he did enough though.
That wasn't enough.
And if Dylan names his name again, then it's all all over for Dylan. But I think that there's going to be a push to put Dylan in there. There's going to be a push to put Jeremy in there. And because there's a push to put Jeremy in there might be a push to put Brittany in as well, because like you put you 1-for-1. And or they could also be like, let's just put the remaining housewives in there. That's hilarious. Also hilarious.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them, but can we talk about them? Like Dolores, not much screen time other than picking up the thing off the floor. I mean,
yeah.
And then Robin inserts herself a lot, so she's at least driving some television, but
yeah,
wrong reads. Wrong
yes,
reads.
all the wrong reads. Yeah, I mean the Dorinda I probably like the most of the housewives. So it's a bummer that she exited so quickly. They should have made her a traitor. She would have been a great traitor, I think. Yeah. So, but again, like, I don't know any of these people's history on TV. So I don't know like what characters they play on their respective shows. So it's hard for me to say like, that's a great pick or not. And we've only seen 3 episodes. Like, I've been quiet 3 episodes of a TV show before. That's not uncommon. And, and I'm still me. So maybe we see some people that blossom. Maybe you'll get to see
Peter.
Yeah. Peter blossomed fantastically. Maybe that's Sam this season. I thought it was going to be Wells, but maybe it's
not
Sam.
Gonna be Sam. Come on. Sam doesn't even know where he is.
It's Dylan. It's already Dylan.
Yes, you're right. I do think they're setting Dylan up to be the hero already, and we're not far in.
You don't think it's going to be Lord Ivar Mountbatten?
I don't like what is going. Why is he there? I think he's the John. Was it John last season?
Yes, which John was great. Lord Ivar Mountbatten, who's saying only girls should get off the boat, is not the lovable John of last season.
Wait, who was it, Bob? Who was like, who would lie? A royal.
Yes. Yeah. Who's good at keeping secrets? That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah,
royals.
That was good. I like, Bob has some good lines. I'm really enjoying Bob.
Yeah.
Who else is like on this cast that we haven't talked? I mean, Bob Harper didn't have much. He did go after Tony pretty hard. We didn't really understand why. That came out.
Well, I don't know why he came after Tony, but he was correct in being like, I don't want to go first. Why are we going first? You go first. Somebody else go first. So yeah, he was just sticking up for himself in that moment where he realized that it benefited people to not go first. Gabby, we've been seeing a lot of Gabby, and I like Gabby. I think she's pretty fun.
I think she has the not necessarily right reads, but I feel like she has a good mind for the game that we could maybe see blossom among the other people.
Yeah.
She does have a little voting block, it seems, there too, with Chrishell and Nikki Bella. We'll see. And honestly, Wes is smart. I would say, like, once you see these girls getting, like, you kind of gotta not infiltrate it, but I would think get on their side.
Yeah, you got to be in a clique. You can't be on the outs. Wes is someone who could end up in a coffin next week too.
You think so?
I mean, if he keeps tooting his horn too much, then people got to sleep sometime.
It's interesting to see him kind of on his own, because on the challenge, he, everyone knows him, even on what was it, House of, like, I just feel like he went in and no one really knows his game, right? Other than, I guess, Carolyn, but
yeah,
he's just kind of like alone, where CT at least had Trishelle and they had each other.
Right.
But he's the only challenger, so
yeah, that is weird that he's the only challenger this season. It's weird that they have 4 survivors, 3 Big Brother, 4 housewives. Yeah, I mean, housewives, you always have to go heavy on the housewives because they're filler for the cast.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah. So it's easy to do. But yeah, I could see Wes going in a coffin next week as like okay, well, if we can't put Brittany and Jeremy in, then who we got to, because we want to get out somebody who's threatening, who's maybe good at this stuff, and who's been telling everyone how good they are at this stuff. Wes.
Okay, but why is no one saying, at least we didn't see it, saying, okay, well, obviously one of Rob, Wes, or Derek is a traitor. Get rid of them.
Only Derek said that about the other 2. So
Hmm.
I don't know why. Like I feel like it's a no-brainer.
The rest of the cast, like, come
Yeah.
on,
The
what is
thing that's going to
happening?
throw people off is that there's 4 traitors. Like I
Fair.
think
Yep.
that at the end, if there's bigger than, like obviously they introduce new traders, but they always announce it and stuff. If they never have to announce and people don't know there's 4, that's going to be very tricky to navigate at the end when you're like, okay, we got all 3 of them. Let's split the money. And they're like, oh, there's one more. We
Yep.
added one this season. Like that's as you
That's
go into this season of like, they should do a season
God. What are you gonna say? I'm afraid.
where there's like
Everyone's a
5 groups
traitor.
of traders, but they don't know that everybody's a traitor.
Yes. Yes. I'm into it.
Something like that,
That'd be
where,
ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how you would do the round tables or the murders at night, but like if there was a way where you could have multiple groups of traders thinking they're being the sneaky ones, uh, hilarious.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
God.
like a Joe Schmo show where you just like it's all fake and you have
Yeah, that
somebody
was the
being like,
millionaire one, right?
I'm a
Yeah.
mastermind. Yeah.
But in terms of traders, anyone else we didn't talk? Oh, Tom Sandoval. What was your impression of him?
I liked that he knew his face was creepy. Like they were
Yeah.
like, you give me creepy face. He's like, that's just my face. Sorry. It is like,
Yeah.
yeah. I like that he's trying. He's obviously not good at this, but he is trying. Like he popped his blindfold off and tried to get reads on everybody. The problem is that a guy like this screws it up for somebody who's actually good at the game. Like he'll
Hmm.
be like even like, well, like I popped my thing off in Wells. Like he acted weird when he pulled his off, and you're like, how so? He's like weird. Like that's like the guy who ruins it for somebody who's actually like could be good at this. But that's the beauty of this show as well. Like that's
Yep.
the best thing is watching people navigating this for the first time, where it's this cutthroat game supposedly, and not being able to, but not knowing whether or not they're even good at it. Like,
You need a
so
few of those people in there
you
for
have to
sure.
have them. Yeah. And I think he's that guy. He's the guy who's like trying so hard to get it right, but he's always wrong.
Yeah, I think and we saw a little bit of and I predicted this, that he would probably align with some of the alpha males and sort of they would take him under his wing a little bit because the girls don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Women.
Yeah.
Um,
Women, man.
yeah, I mean,
Just put him on
Chriselle.
the rafts, put him on the thing.
Ooh, Tom should have stood up and rehabbed his image and be like, "Yes, I agree. The
Yeah.
women are taking too many hits. Like, men, we
Yeah.
have to step up here. I need
I've
to
always been a champion for women.
always,
Yeah.
obviously."
He should have.
Um, Chriselle, we didn't see too much. We just saw her sort of her tiff with Tom. Chriselle was also a Big Brother fan. I don't think they
Oh,
said that.
I think she was excited to see some of
Derek
them.
or
Yeah. Was it
someone.
Derek? Yeah. It could have been one of them. But yeah.
We didn't really see anything there. Sierra, I do love Sierra from Summer House. She spoke up a lot, but like she was almost like asking people the questions, but not really saying much herself. Right? Is that kind of what we saw from Sierra?
Yeah. I forget Sierra. There were a couple of them that looked like too similar to each other. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't remember who's who.
It's only the first 3 episodes, but we saw a lot of the same people. Obviously, the Traitors get the most airtime, and we saw a lot of them. Bob,
Yeah.
Danielle, Rob, even
Which is
Cody,
why
obviously.
these people want to be traders. Like, sure, it puts you in control of the game initially and stuff, but most of them probably just want the extra screen time.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. Um, who anyone impress you or anyone impress you, but is anyone stick out to you that okay, I can see them going pretty far?
I mean, it is still too early, but I think
Mm-hmm.
I think like Jeremy's playing too hot, too fast. Dylan's playing too hot, too fast. Can they check themselves and slink back? Maybe they can course correct, but like they're the problem is that they're right on who the traitor is. That's the problem, is that they're right and they told people.
Yep. Yep.
Like if you're right, cool, but don't tell people.
Because you're
Like
going home now.
yeah,
You're gonna
because
be
you're
murdered.
yes, exactly. So, which I think is the balance of the game is
I'm still like, Jeremy, why would you vocalize it? That one just shocked me because I'm like, dude, you were right. Yes, but now she's going to find out. You tell Bob. Bob's
yeah,
like the most talkative person in the house.
yeah. It's And you want to curry favor with somebody and bring them information. And maybe him bringing it to Bob was powerful enough that Bob will protect Jeremy, even if Danielle wants to get rid of him.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
So,
That is a
because you
good point.
do, as a traitor, you don't want all 4 traitors at the end.
No.
You want them to get gone. So, like, if you can protect somebody who's going to target another traitor, but not you, that's kind of works to your advantage.
Yeah, that's my next question, Tyson. Which traitor is going to turn on the other first? Is it Rob?
I mean, Rob probably shouldn't have stuck his neck out so hard for Bob this past episode, but I don't know. I don't know who. None of
I
them like
think,
each other is
yeah,
the
they don't like
thing.
each other. Something's going to
No.
happen.
Yeah. So I think they're just going to stop sticking their necks out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Once the name gets going too much, I think you just
yeah.
got to let that person go.
And if I were a traitor, I honestly wouldn't go back to, if somebody told me something in confidence, like if you were a faithful and you were like, "Hey Tyson, I think Carolyn's a traitor and I'm a traitor." I'm not
You're
telling
like, great.
Carolyn. Cool. Thank you for that information. That's interesting. I'll keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to her and telling her that because I may need you to blow
Mm-hmm.
that up at some point in the future.
I would almost befriend that person because I'm like, okay, what else do you think? You
Yeah.
obviously have a right read on
Tell me
someone.
more. Tell me more. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
The problem is
Uh,
that if they say it in a room full of people, you have to go back with the information because somebody else is probably going to. And if you're not the first one as supposed ally to the traitors, that looks bad.
yep, exactly. No, that's true. As soon as if like Derek had heard Danielle's name and he didn't tell her and she, yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. Yeah, I think Rob will make the first move just based on what he did with Tony. I'm just like, I think he would cut. I think if Danielle really wants Jeremy out, I could see him letting that go and not fighting too hard.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess it remains to be seen. And also Danielle kind of hinted. Danielle loves Boston Rob, by the way. Danielle, like you said, is a huge Survivor fan,
Yeah.
but she did say like I can't probably work with him, right? Like she was like, I don't really want him here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And any predictions about who's going to win, Faithfuls or Traitors? They got 4 of them. I'm sure at some point maybe we'll get a recruitment if they get enough out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Faithfuls seem kind of dumb though. Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah. I think that I think traitors, well, I mean, traitors are not smart either here. Like they're
They're not getting
overplaying,
along.
they're not getting along, they're not really unified. So I think though, like in this moment, like if you're the traitors and you're getting rid of the most savvy faithfuls, you're giving yourself the best chance.
Yeah. Yep.
And so like right now, I think that that's like Tony going, great. That's a start. Uh, get Wes out of there, get Brittany out of there, get
Hmm.
get Jeremy gone, eventually get Dylan out of there. And then pretty much at that point, if you get all those people out of there,
Smooth sailing.
you've got pretty smooth sailing. They're not going to get all of you. They might find some of you at the end, but I don't think they're going to get everybody if you can get rid of that group of people.
But what's Rob's best move when it comes to Derek and West? Just ride as long as you like. At some point, someone's gonna say, "You guys came in the game late. One of
Yeah.
you's right."
Yeah. I would be targeting them. I'd be targeting, I don't
But
know.
then
It's
if you get them
tricky.
out,
And then everybody looks at you.
process of elimination.
Yes, exactly. So it is tricky. I, yeah, there's a lot of layers to it, honestly.
There are.
I think you could get rid of, you have to spread it out and get rid of them. And then, like, if you can somehow, man, I don't know. Can you lie
It's
about
tough.
having a shield to the group?
That's a good question.
Could you
That's
come
easy to
back and be
forget to,
like,
but
yeah, could you come back and be like, I got a shield? I mean, that only works if nobody gets eliminated, because if somebody gets eliminated, then
I
yeah,
think some people have lied about a shield before. I don't know exactly what
they
the
lied
lie was,
about
but
having one so that
having one.
people wouldn't vote for them. That
Yeah.
was last year when Peter was spreading disinformation to see what was coming back to him and to who and
Yes,
how.
which I like
That
I
was
love
smart.
disinformation.
Yeah,
Let's
that was
spread more of
smart.
that.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think Rob, that's what's tricky is like he came in with them. You can't pop them back to back. The smartest thing you could do is try and get him out at the round table. Like if you want
Exactly.
someone gone as a traitor and you don't want it to come back on you, you have to do it at the round table
Yep.
and
And you
use other
gotta
people.
you almost have to like hope someone brings up their name and just sort of hype them up a little bit. Oh, interesting. And you
Yeah.
can't say it for it. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance and yeah, it's too early to really tell. I just think Rob probably has to keep Wes and Derek for a little bit until someone says their name and then hope that people forget about how they came in the game at that point. I don't know though.
Yeah. I mean, you could also pair up with them. Like Rob could be like, let's us three stick together. Let's keep sticking together. And then at some point be like, Wes, I think Derek is a traitor. Like, isn't it weird? All three of us came in together. Wouldn't one of us probably be a traitor? I don't know if that's
Hmm.
accurate or not, but like, it's not
Yep.
me. I feel like it's not you. Let's try Derek. And if it's not him, then maybe nobody's traitor. I don't know.
Yep.
Something like that. Not so obvious that then it comes back on you, but that's the hard thing with all of these shows is you can't get everybody out at the same time. That's like Survivor too. Everybody's watches and they're like, well, why didn't they do this move? It's like, because you have to balance and there's like weights and balances to every single elimination, especially if you're playing critically and trying to like think and be steps ahead and stuff. And so at some point you just like don't have the time. And like that's what this show is all about, is like Rob not having the time to target both those guys, because once he targets one, everybody's going to be looking at him a little bit. Same
Hmm.
with like the Survivor players getting gone and like the beefs getting like, Danielle getting rid of Brittany, that comes back on her. Like that's the balance of the whole game, is like getting rid of people without having blood on your hands at all, as much as possible, or at least not showing the blood on your hands.
Yeah. You made me think of something though. In terms of Survivor, I think for a long time, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was like, okay, the last kind of name that we decide on before we go to tribal council, that person's probably leaving. Obviously, the new era, whatever you want to call it, tribal council is very much more alive and you could flip votes. Same thing with like the banishment. Do you want to go in with a solid plan or do you want to blow up things with the banishment and hope that you can get people to switch?
I think you want to go in with a solid plan with a majority for the most part.
Yeah.
And then if
Okay.
you feel like you're on the block, then go in and blow it up. But it's like Survivor, it gets tricky. Like you could be doing more damage than good for your game in that moment. And so as much as you can, you got to go in with a plan, with a group.
That's fair. I would agree with that.
So,
Okay.
and yeah, like find your voting block and try and control it and hope that you have a traitor or two in your voting
In the
block.
voting block.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, Tyson. Well, I feel like we covered most of the stuff. Like overall, what was your, I guess, consensus on the first three episodes? And how did it compare to season two for you?
Um, I mean, it's the same. I like it. I like when my friends are on TV. I
Yeah.
enjoy watching people I know. That adds like another fun layer of watching TV, because like I know them as people and I know like kind of how their mind works. And me watching Rob saying like one of his superpowers is reading people. It was like I've heard that so many times while I'm lying to him. And so, and it's like, and he's lied to me and I haven't picked up on it either. So but it's like, it's funny that
It's
like,
fun.
yeah, watching that is funny. I love the sound of Jeremy's voice. So it's just like every time that Jeremy talks, I'm like, yeah, this is nice to my eardrums. And oh, I thought it was interesting that Jeremy stuck his neck out for Tony and maybe even probably helped his game, because he said,
Mm-hmm.
I know Tony, him and I have some beef. I'm telling you, I do not think he's a traitor. So the fact that then he gets eliminated and is not a traitor
Yep.
probably looks pretty good for Jeremy as far as being suspect of being a traitor. Um, and
The
so I
problem
did
is
like that.
he's gonna be murdered though, not banished probably. I could be wrong. Tom also said his name. Tom Sandoval randomly said Jeremy's name
Yeah, he
again.
could he will get murdered. Like that's the balance, but like nobody's coming at him as a traitor.
Yeah, no,
So
that made sense. I thought that was, yeah, they made it that they definitely made the survivor sort of storyline here, you know, a moment,
yeah,
because even when they went to Rob's vote, it was like zoomed in on Rob as a, and Rob wasn't the last person to vote, but they were like,
right.
how's Rob gonna vote?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. We'll see. I have no idea who the three coffins are, but if these traders don't get their act together soon, then they're not going to be traders much longer.
Yeah, at least it's fun in the turret. Like sometimes, I mean, at least season one with Cody, I remember Cody and it was kind of just like, no, it was a little boring.
And Ari too. Very boring.
Didn't remember he was there.
Yeah. Remember he got recruited at the end to be a traitor, and then he felt bad and was like, I have a good life at home. See you guys. I
Which
can't do this lying.
And then he went on social media and was like slamming Suri and all the
Yeah.
people for lying. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what show you went on, right?
Yeah, that's the game, buddy. It's not like The Bachelor where you just pretend to love somebody only to then go back and love somebody else.
That's why, like, he's rich. Like, if you don't need the money and you're going on a show called The Traitors, like, what are you there for?
Yeah. Why are you there?
Yeah, I don't get it. You're never gonna do it, you don't think, based on this?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think I have no desire to do it. Like I am watching it and I'm just like, I would be so furious and have a big headache the whole time as I'm listening to people talk. It would be
Yeah,
exhausting.
it's a lot of
So
listening.
I think I would be good at it. I think like it's sure, put me in there, great. I'm the best at everything I do. But I don't think I'd enjoy it. And I'm pretty happy here in my safety zone of my
That's
home.
fair. That's fair. Any thoughts on 50 coming up?
Thoughts on 50 season
Like, are you excited to
Survivor?
watch, assuming you're not on it with
Yeah, I'm
your
excited to see what they do. I think that I think the balance will be highlighting new era returning players
Yeah.
while keeping some of the nostalgia of the show by choosing players that aren't necessarily franchise players or faces of the franchise, but are
Mhm.
recognizable enough that people are excited to have them back.
Yep.
So, based off of that criteria, who would you be excited to have back from the old eras that isn't a face of the franchise, but that is someone you remember, recognize, and would want to
God.
see again?
Are you asking me or are you
I'm
just
asking
saying?
you. I'm asking you.
That one's tough. I mean, I know some people are saying Rob Sesternino. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, that
Um,
could for sure be fun.
I know that's your buddy. And also my friend. Who else? I don't know. This is a hard question for me to answer because I have a bad memory. But I've seen all the obviously I've actually seen more of the old school stuff. I've kind of dropped off a little bit more recently, but
Yeah.
trying to think.
But I think that's the balance you're going for is somebody that's like recognizable, but maybe hasn't been there for a long time and isn't like somebody that keeps coming back to the show over and over and over again. I think don't put 4-time players on. Don't put
No,
5-time
yeah,
players
we don't
on.
need
Don't put
it.
3-time players on. 2-time players, yeah, find somebody, find a couple, names from
Like,
All Stars that haven't been on since All Stars. But then you also have to balance like, can they keep up with the speed of the modern game? Like some people can't. Like you have to find a sociopath or a narcissist that's willing and able to keep up with that pace. Like Winners at War, there were a few people on there that we hadn't seen for a long time, and they were duds. Like they
yep.
did not understand the modern game, and so like you can't have that. You have to have everyone that's selected from old school eras or pre season 40 or whatever you want to say needs to be willing to slit their best friend's throat on the game.
Oh, then my one pick was going to be controversial for you.
Who?
Um, and I don't think anyone would recognize him, but I always wanted to see Ian from Palau play again.
Oh, yeah. Ian. I think
Like
he'd be too nice.
he's too nice. Like he would never slit someone's. I mean, that
He
was
went
his
through
whole
casting at
game.
Heroes versus Villains with me,
Oh, did he?
and I sat with him in the airport on our way leaving the casting. And yeah, I think it was me, him, Sandra, and Rupert. We're all sitting at the LA airport on our way home after going through casting for season 20. And we all kind of were like, if we're all out there, let's kind of stick together.
Of course.
So, I mean, you have to say that if you bump
Yeah.
into 4 Survivor contestants that just went through casting.
Yeah. No, I always wanted to see him play again. I don't know why. Maybe I was young, obviously, when I watched that season, but I did like him, even though looking back, it was like, dude, you gave up $1 million for what?
Yeah.
um,
He still seems
but
super nice, but again, I
super
haven't seen
nice.
him for 15 years. So
Yeah. Would people recognize these people? Like, they look different, right? It's not
they
like,
look different. So who still looks similar enough?
right.
Who's still physically able to compete? Also, like you look back and you're like, okay, this person's good. Ian from Palau, he's great. He was 30 on the season. Yeah, he's 79 now. Like that's like that's another thing. Like you can't like who's young enough to still play. Ian's not that old. That was obviously exaggeration, but like there's a lot that goes into it. So bringing back these old players like is going to be a trick. And is it going to happen? I don't know. I want it to be if they're doing a celebration of the show, it should be across all eras,
Yeah.
and it should be with people who want to be there and are willing to fight and do whatever they have to stay there.
Well, especially the game now, it's moving so quick and people are just like constantly scrambling. It's not the same sort of Tyson running the game and everyone just watching.
It happens sometimes still, but it is fewer and far between. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I would much rather do Deal or No Deal Island, to be honest.
Yes, we need you on that show. Did you watch the premiere?
Not yet, because I watched 3 episodes of
The
the
Traitors.
Traitors.
But
But
you got your friend Parvati on that show too.
I
You got a lot
know.
of friends on TV right now.
I know. I'm gonna watch it. And I'd only do that one because the prize is truly life-changing.
I don't know how you would say no to that. I mean,
Like if you could win that and just take home like a cool like 14 milli.
no big deal. Not $10,000 screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little more.
I need 14 milli. I mean, I could do
Yeah.
so many cool things with that much money.
Do you know David at all from Australian Survivor?
No, not really. I know that when Winners at War was going, I think their Heroes versus Villains was going, and I think there was press of him asking like who he wanted to win Winners at War, and I think he had said me.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
yeah, so I obviously am a big fan. If you love me and show the love in the public anywhere, then yeah, it's reciprocated.
Got it. And do you know? I'm assuming you have no idea who Dr. Willett. Like you don't watch Big Brother.
I only know the name because of yeah, but that's only because people talk about him. So I get mixed things. Was he on Traitors last season?
He just did a cameo, kind of like Parv is doing a cameo
Yeah.
this
So
season.
he did a cameo on Traitors, right? Last
Yeah,
season.
he just like hosted a competition, like one of the competitions in the woods. You don't
Yeah.
even remember. That's how it was so small. It was very quick, but
Yeah.
yes, he appeared, but he hasn't competed since 2006, Big Brother All
Yeah.
Stars.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, and I'm also excited to see him and Parv because he definitely knows who Parv is. So that'll be fun to see their dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I'd love to see you on Deal or No Deal Island, Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody deserves $14 million, it's this
The guy who won
sociopathic
$1 million.
narcissist. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to just go and squander it. Like I know the value of $1 million now.
That's true. That's true. I would trust you. Not
Thank
some of
you.
these other people.
Yeah.
Like you have kids to spend money on, not.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I have a legacy that I have to support so that they can go back and watch me on these shows 100 years from now.
Oh.
Is that sad? Is that a sad conversation? Like
Yeah.
that was.
Have your girls are young. They haven't watched the show.
No, they don't care.
No. Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
eh.
I want them to not care.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait, Tyson, are you still? Are you gonna cover Survivor again this season?
I am. Yeah.
Find
Still on the Ringer. So I'm on the Ringer. You can find it at Ringer Reality TV on all podcasts and on YouTube. And yeah, we get some good conversations going about each episode. So I cover every season since the pandemic. I've been with the Ringer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we're going on.
50 and everything.
I'll be covering. Yep.
That'll be fun.
I'm contracted to cover 50. So.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, I'm excited. Gotta tune in.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Tyson. Appreciate you It's always fun having you. You're always welcome back. Yeah, appreciate you saying yes. And for the listeners, obviously, please like and subscribe. And I will be back next week with another recap.